Hi, everyone. I'm Maria. I am an associate here at Burnham Law in the probate division, and I'm here to make your life and death a lot easier. I want to talk to some of you a little bit about the intersection between family law and probate and estate planning. So, unfortunately, a lot of people, or fortunately, depending on the circumstances, a lot of people end their marriages with divorce. And divorce has a lot of legal consequences, has a lot of emotional consequences, personal consequences for families. It takes a lot of time and energy to recover from something like that. But a lot of people don't think about during the divorce process is what is this going to do, or how is it going to affect my estate planning? That's the last thing on your mind. You're thinking about splitting up from the person you lived with. You're thinking about splitting assets. You're thinking about splitting parenting time. If there are kids involved, if there aren't, you're thinking about what happened to that prenup that we were going to sign. I mean, there are so many things that are going through your mind. The last thing you're thinking of, most likely, unless you're a lawyer or just automatically thinking about that sort of thing, is what is this going to mean for my estate planning? And I would like to call your attention to it because a divorce means a lot for your estate planning. The first thing that I want to put you on notice of is that disinheritance from a will does not mean total disinheritance. What do I mean by that? When you divorce from someone, they are automatically, under Colorado law, presumed to have been disinherited from your will if you have one. You're probably thinking, great, so I don't have to think about it again. My ex-spouse is disinherited from my will, therefore they can't take anything. I don't need to redo my will. I don't need to think about anything else ever again except how to get over this traumatic thing that happened. Unfortunately, you do still have to do a little bit of thinking. The difference under Colorado law, divorce equals disinheritance from a will, but it doesn't mean disinheritance from non-probate assets. What are non-probate assets, you ask? Good question. Non-probate assets are bank accounts that have a co-person on them or a payable on death designation. So obviously, when you're divorcing from someone, they're probably going to come off of your bank account. You're going to say this account stays with person A, this account stays with person B, done. Possibly not. You may have at one point during setting up the account have added a payable on death beneficiary on that account. And if that person is your ex-spouse, they are going to get everything in your checking account when you pass. So think about that. Another thing is the title to homes. Sometimes people don't retitle their homes during their divorce. Sometimes they do. If you are saying you're going to get around to it, you never get around to it. Your spouse is still on the house and you pass and you're divorced, they get the house. Pensions are a common one. 401ks are a common one. Anything where you filled out a beneficiary designation form, think about it and update your beneficiary, because your spouse might end up inheriting your life insurance policy. And there's nothing anyone else can do about it because it's a non-probate asset, which means that the probate court doesn't have control over how it's distributed if there's a beneficiary designation. So that's step one. Step two, common law spouses. This is something I see in my practice very frequently. Two people live together, they're living together in their silver and golden years. They consider themselves spouses, but they don't tell other people that they're spouses. They're still filing taxes separately because it's easier for them, but they live together and obviously they want the other person to inherit from their estate a little bit. Sometimes they don't. If you have a common law spouse, make sure that you are planning for them in your estate planning, or specifically disinheriting them from your estate planning, because if you're not and they're left sort of without you at the end of your life and they have to deal with fighting your kids for some piece of something, they don't have a lot of legal grounds to stand on. They don't have a lot of options. They don't have a lot of things that they can assert to the court. And unfortunately, if you didn't plan for them, they're probably going to end up with nothing, like not even a keepsake, if your kids really don't like them. So think about that and really discuss it with your common law spouse and your kids and have a concrete, legally enforceable plan in place, because things change when people pass, unfortunately. And a lot of the time things change for the worse if people are unclear with what they want. And the final piece that I want to touch on is planning for marital kids. So in this case, you've divorced from someone, you still have minor children with that person, and you pass before that minor child becomes an adult. If that happens and you don't have an estate plan in place, potentially your ex-spouse will be in control of all of your assets because your ex-spouse is the common law guardian of your child. So, and sometimes people have a great relationship with their ex-spouse. It's less common, but I've seen it, and it's really great for everyone involved. Maybe you want them to take over everything and hold on to it for the benefit of the kids. You definitely need to write them into your estate planning in that case because, as I said, Colorado law assumes that if you're divorced, you have nothing else to do with each other. But if that's what you want and you don't want them to take care of everything that you own for the kids, you need to have someone else in place who can do that, and you need to put that in your estate plan. So those are just a few of the intersections between family law and estate planning. Obviously, there are more, and I'm happy to address your questions if you have them in Russian or English. Reach out. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and for more information, go to burnhamlaw.com.